The Man and the Little Cat. One day, an old man was having a stroll in the forest when he suddenly saw a little cat stuck in a hole. The poor animal was struggling to get out, so he gave him his hand to get him out. But the cat scratched his hand with fear. The man pulled his hand, screaming with pain. But he did not stop. He tried to give a hand to the cat again and again. Another man was watching the scenes, screamed with surprise. For God's sakes, stop helping this cat. He's going to get himself out of there. The other man did not care about him. He just continued saving that animal until he finally succeeded, and then he walked to that man and said, "Son, it is cat's instinct that makes him scarce and too hard, and it is my job to laugh and care." Moral: treat everyone around you with your each, not with theirs. Treat the people the way you want to be treated by them. The Poor Man's Wealth. Ramchand and Premchand, we are neighbors. Ramchand was a poor farmer. Premchand was a landlord. Ramchand used to be very relaxed and happy. We never bothered to close the doors and windows of this house at night. He had deep sound sleeps, although he had no money. He was peaceful. Premchand used to be very tense always. He was very keen to close the doors and windows of his house at night. He could not sleep well. He was always both hurt that someone might break open his safes and steal away his money. He invite the peaceful Ramchand. One day, Premchand called Ramchand and gave him a box full of cash, saying, "Look, my dear friend, I am blessed with plenty of wealth. I find you in poverty, so take this cash and live in prosperity." Ramchand was overwhelmingly happy. He was joyful throughout the day. Night came. Ramchand went to bed as usual, but today he could not sleep. He went and closed the door and windows. He still could not sleep. He began to keep on looking at the box of cash. The whole night he was disturbed. As soon as day broke, Ramchand took the box of cash to Premchand. He gave away the box to Premchand, saying, "Dear friend, I am poor, but your money took away peace from me. Please bear with me and take back your money." Moral: money cannot get everything. Learn to be satisfied with what you have, and you will always be happy. The wet pants. There is a 9-year-old kid sitting at his desk, and all a sudden there is a puddle between his feet, and the front of his pants are wet. He thinks his heart is going to stop because he cannot possibly imagine how this has happened. It's never happened before, and he knows that when the boys find out, he will never hear the end of it. When the girls find out, they'll never speak to him again. As long as he lives, the boy believes his heart is going to stop. He puts his head down and prays this prayer: "Dear God, this is an emergency. I need help now. 5 minutes from now I am dead meat." He looks up from his prayer, and here comes the teacher with a look in her eyes that says he has been discovered. As the teacher is Walking toward him, a classmate named Swiss is carrying a goldfish bowl that is filled with water. Susie trips in front of the teacher and inexplicably dumps the bowl of water in the boy's lap. The boy pretends to be angry, but all the whole is saying to himself, thank you, Lord, thank you, Lord. Now, all of a sudden, instead of being the object of ridicule, the boy is the object of sympathy. The teacher rushes him downstairs and gives him James Scott to put on while his pants dry out. All the other children are on their hands and knees clearing up around his desk. The sympathy is wonderful, but as life would have it, the ridicule that should have been his has been transferred to someone else. Susie, she tries to help, but the tell her to get out. You have done enough, you clothes. Finally, at the end of the day, as they are waiting for the bus, the boy walks over to Susie and whispers, "You did that on purpose, did not you?" Susie whispers back, "I wet my pants once too." Moral: all of us go thought all got and had thing in life. We should always remember how we felt when we were in same condition and should not mock others for being in it. Always try to understand their situation as if you are in it and help much as possible, praying to God that today you are in a condition to help someone who needs it. The wise old man. A wealthy man requested an old scholar to mend his son away from his bad habits. The scholar took the youth for a stroll through a garden. Stopping suddenly, he asked the boy to pull out a tiny plant growing there. The youth held the plant between his thumb and forefinger and pulled it out. The old man then asked him to pull out a slightly bigger plant. The youth pulled hard and the plant came out, rods and all. Now pull out that one side. The old man, pointing to a vase. The boy had to use all his strength to pull it out. No, take this one out, said the old man, indicating a guava tree. The youth grasped the trunk and tried to pull it out, but it would not. But it's impossible, said the boy, panting with the effort. So it is with bad habits, said the sage. When they are young, it is easy to pull them out, but when they take hold, they cannot be uprooted. The session with the old man changed the boy's life. Moral: don't wait for bad habits to grow in you. Drop them while you have control over it, else they will get control you. Until death do us apart. When I got home that night as my wife served dinner, I held her hand and said, I have got something to tell you. She sat down and ate quickly again. I observed the heart in her eyes. Suddenly, I did not know how to open my mouth, but I had to let her know what I was thinking. I want a divorce. I raised the topic calmly. She did not seem to be annoyed by my words. Instead, she asked me softly why I avoided her question. This made her angry. She threw away the chopsticks and shouted at me, "You are not a man." That night we did not talk to each other. She was weeping. I know she wanted to find out what had happened to our marriage, but I could hardly give her a satisfactory answer. She had lost my heart to John. I did not love her anymore. I just pitied her with a deep sense of guilt. I drafted a divorce agreement which started that the cut on our house, our car, and 30% stake of my company. She glanced at it and then tore it into pieces. The woman who had spent 10 years of her life with me had become a stronger. I felt sorry for her wasted time, resource, and energy, but I could not take back what I had said, for I loved John so dearly. Finally, she carried loudly in front of my, which was what I had expected to see. To me, her carry was actually a kind of release. The idea of divorce, which had obsessed me for several weeks, seemed to be firmer and clear now. The next day I came back home very late and found her writing something at the table. I did not have supper but went straight to sleep and fell asleep very fast because I was tired after an eventful day with Jan. When I woke up, she was still there at the table, warning. I just did not care, so I turned over and was asleep again. In the morning, she presented her divorce condition. She did not want anything from me but needed a month's notice before the divorce. She requested that in that 1 month we both try to live as normal a life as possible. Her reason for this condition were simple. Our non had his exams in a month's time, and she did not want to disrupt him with our broken marriage. This was agreeable to me, but she had something more. She asked me to recall how I had carried her into our bridal room on our wedding day. She requested that every day for the month duration I carry her out of our bedroom to the front door every morning. I thought she was going crazy just to make our last day together bearful. I accepted the odd request. I told John about my wife's divorce condition. She laughed nodded and thought it was absurd. No matter what tricks she appeals, the has to face the divorce, the said scornfully. My wife and I had not had any body contact since my divorce. Intention was explicitly expressed, so when I carried her out on the first day, we both afforded clemency. Our son clapped behind us. Daddy is holding mommy in his arms. His words brought me a sense of pain from the bedroom to the sitting room, then to the door. I walked over 10 meters with her in my arms. She closed her eyes and said softly, "Don't tell our son about the divorce." I nodded, feeling somewhat upset. I put her down outside the door. The went to wait for the bus to work. I drove alone to the office. On the second day, both of us acted much more easily. She landed on my chest. I could smell the fragrance of her blouse. I realized that I had not looked at his woman carefully for a long time. I realized she was not young anymore. There were fine, wrinkless on her face. Her hair was graying. Our marriage had taken its toll on her. For a minute I wondered what I had done to her. On the fourth day, when I lifted her up, I lived a sense of intimacy returning. This was the woman who had given 10 years of the life to me. On the fifth and sixth day, I realized that our sense of intimacy was growing again. I did not tell Jan about this. It became easier to carry her as the month slipped by. Perhaps the everyday workout made me stronger. She was choosing what to wear one morning. She tried on quite a few dresses but could not find a suitable one. Then she said, all my dresses have grown bigger. I suddenly realized that the had grown so thin. That was the reason why I could carry her more easily. Suddenly it hit me. She had borrowed so much pain and bitterness in her heart. Subconsciously, I reached out and touched her head. Our son came in at the moment and said that it's time to carry mom out. To him, saying his father carrying his mother out had become an essential part of his life. My wife gestured to our son to come closer and hugged him tightly. I turned my face away because I was afraid I might change my mind at this last minute. I then held her in my arms, walking from the bedroom toward the sitting room to the hallway. Her hand surrounded my neck softly and naturally. I had her body tightly. It was just like our wedding day, but her much lighter weight made me sad. On the last day, When I held her in my arms, I could hardly move a step. Our son had gone to school. I had her tightly and said, I had not noticed that our life lacked intimacy. I drove to office and jumped out of the car swiftly without locking the door. I was afraid any delay would make me change my mind. I walked upstairs. John opened the door and I said to her, sorry, John, I do not want the divorce anymore. She looked at me astonished and then touched my forehead. Do you have a fever? She said. I moved her hand up my head. Sorry, John. I said I want divorce. My marriage life was burning probably because she and I did not value the details of our lives. Not because we did not love each other anymore. Now I realize that since I carried her into my home on our wedding day, I am supposed to hold her until death do us apart. John she met to suddenly wake up. She gave me a loud slap and then slammed the door and burst into tears. I walked downstairs and drove away. At the floral shop on the way, I ordered a bouquet of flowers for my wife. The sales girl asked me what to write on the card. I smiled and wrote, I'll carry you out every morning until death do us apart. That evening I arrived home, flowers in my hands, a smile on my face. I ran up stairs only to find my wife in the bed dead. My wife had been fighting cancer for months and I was so busy with John to even notice. She knew that she would die soon and wanted to save me from the whatever negative reaction from our son. In case we push thought with the divorce at last in the eyes of our son, I am a loving husband. Moral. The small details of your lives are what really matter in a relationship. It is not the mansion, the car, property, the money in the bank. These create an environment conducive for happiness but cannot give happiness in themselves. So find time to be your suppose friend and do those little things for each other that build intimacy and have a real happy marriage. Story of a blind love. There was a blind girl who hated herself just because she's blind. She hated everyone except the loving boyfriend. He's always there for her. She said that if she could only see the world marry her boyfriend. One day, someone donated a pair of eyes to her, and then the can see everything, including her boyfriend. Her boyfriend asks her, now that you can see the world, will you marry me? The girl was shocked when she saw that her boyfriend is blind too and refused to marry him. Her boyfriend walked away in tears and later wrote a letter to her saying, just take care of my eyes, dear. Little boy's love for his family. I was walking around in a big bazaar store making shopping when I saw a cashier talking to a boy could not have been more than 5 or 6 years old. The cashier said, I am sorry, but you don't have enough money to buy this doll. Then the little boy turned to me and asked, uncle, are you sure I don't have enough money? I counted his cash and replied, you know that you don't have enough money to buy the doll. My dear, the little boy was still holding the doll in his hand. Finally, I walked toward him and I asked him, who he wished to give this doll to. It's the doll heart my sister loved most and wanted so much. I wanted to gift her for her birthday. I have to give the doll to my mummy so that she can give it to my sister. When she goes there, his eyes were so sad while saying this. My sister has gone to be with God. Tate Tetley says that Mummy is going to see God very soon too. So I thought that she could take the doll with her to give it to my sister. My heart nearly stopped. The little boy looked up at me and said, I told Tetley to tell Mommy not to go yet. I need her to wait until I come back from the mail. Then he showed me a very nice photo of him where he was laughing. He then told me I want Mommy to take my picture with her so my sister won't forget me. I love my mommy and I wish she does not have to leave me. But Dudley says that she has to go to be with my little sister. Then he looked again at the doll with sad eyes. Very quickly, I quickly reached for my wallet and said to the boy, suppose we check again just in case you do have enough money for the doll. He said, okay, I hope I do have enough. I added some of my money to his without him saying, and we started to count it. There was enough for the doll and even some spare money. The little boy said, thank you, God, for giving me enough money. Then he looked at me and added, I asked last night before I went to sleep for God to make sure I had enough money to buy this doll so that mommy could give it to my sister. He heard me. I also wanted to have enough money to buy a white rose for my mommy, but I did not dare to ask God for too much, but He gave me enough to buy the doll and a white rose. My mommy loves white rose. I finished my shopping and in a totally different state from when I started. I could not get the little boy out of my mind. Then I remembered a local newspaper articles 2 days ago which mentioned a drunk man in a truck who hit a car occupied by a young woman and a little girl. The little girl died right away, and the mother was left in a critical state. The family had to decide whether to pull the plug on the life sustaining machine because the young woman would not be able to recover from the coma. Was this the family of the little boy? The days after this encounter with the little boy, I read in the newspaper that the young woman had passed away. I could not stop myself. I bought a branch of white rose and I went to the funeral home where the body of the young woman was exposed for people to see and make last wishes before her burial. She was there in her coffin holding a beautiful white rose in her hand with the photo of the little boy and the doll placed over her chest. I left the place teary yet feeling that my life had been changed forever. The love that the little boy had for his mother and his sister is still to this day hard to imagine, and in a fraction of a second a drunk driver had taken all his away from him. Moral: respect life, flow, and obey rules. Don't make anyone else to pay and bear for your mistakes. Do not make the mistakes which cost others something that can never be replaced. Always have a giving hand and extend your help to those in need and store. Struggles of your life. Once upon a time, a daughter complained to her father that her life was miserable and that she did not know how she was going to make it. She was tired of fighting and struggling all the time. It seemed just as one problem was solved, another one soon followed. Her father's a chief took her to the kitchen. He filled their pots with water and placed each on a high fire. Once their pots began to boil, he placed potatoes in one pot, eggs in the second pot, and ground coffee beans in the third pot. Then let them sit and boil without saying a word to his daughter. The daughter mourned and impatiently waited, wondering what he was doing. After 20 minutes, he turned off the burner. He took the potatoes out of the pot and placed them in boil. He pulled the eggs out and placed them in a boil. He then lat- lit- lately the coffee out and placed in a cup. Turning to her, he asked, "Daughter, what do you see?" "Potatoes, eggs, and coffee," she hastily replied. "Look closer," he said, and touched the potatoes. She did and noted that they were soft. He then asked her to take an egg and break it. After pulling off the shell, she observed the hard-boiled egg. Finally, he asked her to sip the coffee. Its rich aroma brought a smile to her face. "Father, what does this mean?" she asked. He then explained that the potatoes, the eggs, and coffee's beans had yes faced the same adversity, the boiling water. However, however, yes, one reset differently. The potato went in strong, hot, and unclearing, but in boiling water it became soft and weak. The egg was fragile with the thin outer shell protecting its liquid interior until it was put in the boiling water. Then the inside of the egg become hard. Ho- However, the ground coffee beans were unquick. After the were exposed to the boiling water, the sensed the water and created something new. Which one are you? He asked his daughter when adversity and knocks on your door. How do you respond? Are you a potato, an egg, or a coffee bean? Moral: in life, things happen around us, things happen to us, but he only thing that role truly matters is how you choose or react to it and what you make out of it. Life is all about learning, adopting, and converting all the struggle that we experience into something positive.